Hey everyone, it's JT here, back with another video for you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the tours. Yes, Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5 tours actually. The Jackson 5 tours. We're going to start off from their first tour to their tour in Mexico in 1975. So we're going to be doing, I just felt like doing, talking about the tours. Shout out to MJ. Shout out to Moonwalking Kingdom. He was discussing on his channel that he's going to be doing the live tours of some of the Jackson 5, the Jacksons live tours with Michael Jackson. So definitely subscribe to his channel, Moonwalking Kingdom. Subscribe to his channel. Yeah, let's just get on to the video. So this is just going to be a pretty quick video. I'm going to be talking about the tours, what I liked and what I didn't like, some of the stuff that they were wearing, and it was pretty cool. I enjoyed the tours, watching them. It was very hard to find, so luckily I found a couple clips from, from the tour. Not the complete tour, and not the whole thing, but some clips of the tour and the songs that they played in the tour, during the tour. So let's get on to the review about the tours. Let's get started with the review of the tours. So Philadelphia National Spectrum was their first tour, the Jackson 5's first tour. Philadelphia National, 1970, May 2nd, 1970. That was their first tour that they did, and it was a pretty good tour. They only sang about 2 songs. They sang ABC, and they sang Thanking, which was about 2 minutes long. And then they just they said their goodbyes. We thank you, the closing. I really enjoyed that tour. That tour was pretty good. Now we're gonna be talking about what they wore. I think this tour had a lot of different clothing, so it's kind of hard to describe it. So I just wrote it in my own words, and hopefully you guys can kind of understand. I will let you guys know the names of the tours, so if you guys want to check it out, watch the tours for yourself, go ahead. So yeah, let's talk about the tour clothing that they wore from each member of the group. So Michael wore a red and blue striped long sleeve button up with a blue vest. And I think that was really one of his most, not really iconic, but one of his most interesting designs of clothing. Because remember this was in 1970, guys. May 2nd in 1970. This was their first tour. I'm sure they were a little bit nervous, but by this time they had already been touring and presenting their music all around America. It had been already like 5 years or so since they had already made their debut. But this was their first time doing an actual tour, an actual tour. So I'm guessing they were a little nervous, but I don't think they were too much nervous. And I'm gonna tell you how many tours there were for their first tour in 1970. So I will tell you that there's about 14 tours that they did across America. They did some in Boston, they did some in Detroit, they did some in Philadelphia. They did a lot of tours, about 14 for their first time. Of course, they took a couple days breaks, but mostly they were just on the road touring, and if they weren't, in the days when they didn't have the tours, they were just rehearsing and practicing, so they were busy all the time. Next person with the clothing that I found pretty interesting as well was, so Jackie, which is the oldest brother of the Jackson 5. Jackie is the oldest brother of the Jackson 5. He wore a red and white long sleeve t-shirt, red and white long sleeve shirt with wings under the arms. That's what he wore. Marlon wore a reddish top hat and red overalls. And Jermaine wore at least like a black vest and a red button up. T- uh, so and then Tito wore striped, uh, spotted on the top of his shoulders. It was like around here. He was wearing like a spotted button up, but like only like around his shoulders was spotted. Right here was spotted. Like the button up that he was wearing was just like right here was spotted, like his shoulder, and then the rest was just red. It was a long sleeve, and yeah, that's basically everyone. It's basically all they wore. It wasn't too long. They did two songs. They did ABC and Thanking, which wasn't their song, but I don't think it was their song, but they did that song. So they did two songs on that first tour. The ABC one wasn't that long, and the Thanking was about 2 minutes long. Now we're gonna move on to their last tour, which was December 30th, 1970. That was just before the New Year, and since it's New Year, the second day of the New Year, I just thought I should just do a tour and talk about the tours. And this was actually I chose this one because this one was the most interesting tours. And we're gonna be talking about not just the first tour. We're gonna be talking about also after this one. We're gonna be talking about the other ones as well. Yeah, so they were in Jacksonville National in 1970, December 30th. And then they took a 2 day break, and then they came back January 2nd, 1971, and then they continued their second tour. But we're not going to really talk about that yet. We're going to save that for another video. This is just going to be talking about their first tour. So yeah, they sang a couple of songs here. They sang a couple well-known songs here. They sang "Love You Save," which was about 12 seconds. Yeah, they sang "It's Your Thing." It's your thing. Do what you wanna do. You know that song. That one was about 1 minute and 35 seconds. And they sang "I Want You Back," which was 2 minutes and 45 seconds. They sang ABC, which was 3 minutes and 30 seconds. They sang "Who's Loving You," which was 4 minutes and 40 seconds. And then they sang at least, I think they sang "I'll Be There," which was about 5 minutes and 45 seconds. And then they sang "Stand," which was 6 minutes and 36 seconds. So they sang they sang a bunch of songs on that. They sang "Love You Save," "It's Your Thing," "I Want You Back," ABC, "Who's Loving You," "I'll Be There," and "Stand." So they sang about 7 songs on their last tour in 1970, the last of their first tour, and then they did their second tour. So we'll talk about that one. That one is a pretty interesting one as well. So we'll talk about their second tour as well. And I want to do it like this. I want to do their first tour to their tour all the way in 1975 in Mexico. So I'm going to explain how that's going to work in a second. The next tour we're going to be talking about is their tour in 1971, their Indiana tour. We're going to be talking about a little bit about that tour, the highlights about that tour, what I liked and what I didn't like. What I didn't like was that it's not the person that uploaded its fault, but it was the quality for the very first tour that they did in Philadelphia National, their first tour. That quality was like very horrible. It was very hard to see what they were wearing, but luckily I was able to make out what they were wearing. Thankfully, so I could tell you guys. But what they were wearing was pretty like 70s, clothing. Nothing that people wear nowadays. So it was that style. That was the style back then. So I found it interesting. The equipment were pretty standard. A couple mics. They had the back. You had the crew. You had Johnny playing the I believe the drums. I think Johnny on the drums, I believe. That was one of their band partners, as well as they had others at the time as well, doing different parts. And Michael was, he was singing and he was introducing, his brothers. He started from, I believe, Jermaine, and then he did Tito, then he did Jackie, and then he did Marlon. So yeah, we're going to be talking and discussing the Indiana tour in 1971 that they did. We're going to be discussing the Aero Fiend tour that they did in Paris in 1972. We're going to be discussing the Japan tour, which I'm really excited for, which they did in 1973. And we're going to be discussing a little bit about the Africa tour, the South Africa tour they did in 1974. And then we're going to be talking about the Mexico tour in 1975. Now, I don't know how I'm going to be doing that. I might release some of them next week, but not all of them because I have school, so I'm going to be busy. The break is about to be finished, so I just want to make this last video before the break, talking about their first tour. And this is like, by far, no offense, this is one of the earliest tours, but their worst tour in my opinion. And I don't think people really talk about their early tours that they did before, Destiny, Triumph, and all that later on stuff, So I just decided to make a video talking about their earlier tours. So I hope you guys enjoy. We have more videos. The next couple of videos are going to be talking about those live tours that they did back in those days. So we have the Indiana tour in 71, Aero Fiend tour 1972, Paris. We have the Japan tour 1973. We have South Africa tour 1974, and the Mexico tour in 1975. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit more in depth and in detail. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed your new year. I know this video is a little bit slow, and it took me a little time. I was just trying to get the facts right. I didn't want to say something and it wasn't right. I wanted to make sure I got the facts right first, so that's why it took me a little longer to say what I had to say. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I will leave the names in the description, so if you guys want to check it out, of the tours that I'm talking about, be my guest. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one, and I will see you sometime next week. Bye. Thanks for watching. And remember, stay moonwalking. Keep on moonwalking, my friends. And make sure to pay attention to this video for info. Alright, bye.